There are civilizations whose ruins lie beneath the earth. And then there are civilizations whose traces vanish into the air. Most societies left behind pottery, stone, metal, or documents. But one remote culture left behind something far stranger. An economy built not on objects but on sound. A currency you could not touch. A transaction you could not store. A form of wealth that disappeared the moment silence returned. This is the forgotten story of a society that turned vibrations into value, crafted markets out of resonance, and engineered one of the most remarkable economic systems ever documented by early anthropologists before disappearing from history almost entirely. Welcome to the world of the Resonants, the lost society that used sound as currency. Imagine standing in a vast valley surrounded by echoing cliffs. A merchant offers you a carved wooden bowl. Instead of handing over coins, you lift a narrow reed instrument to your lips and play a specific sequence of notes. He listens carefully. He nods. The trade is complete. No shells change hands. No metal passes between fingers. Only a sound, brief, intangible, impossible to counterfeit, representing the payment. This society didn't just use sound. It monetized it. And for centuries, this was enough to build homes, settle disputes, measure debts, and run a surprisingly advanced economy. The earliest clues come from mountainous regions in what is now Southeast Asia. Travelers from the 17th and 18th centuries reported an isolated culture living in acoustically unique canyons, naturally engineered echo chambers where sound traveled with extraordinary purity. Their environment shaped their economy. Where other civilizations shaped metal, this one shaped resonance. Because metal was scarce, stone was brittle, water routes were dangerous. But sound was everywhere. Sound was renewable. Sound was impossible to steal physically. And, most importantly, sound was unique to each person. Their voices varied in pitch, timbre, and breath patterns, making perfect counterfeits almost impossible. In a world where fraud could destroy a village's survival, this mattered. Every person in the society possessed a sound signature, a short melodic pattern assigned at adolescence during a public ceremony. This signature represented their identity, their creditworthiness, their social standing, their economic balance. The community acted as the ledger. When someone played their signature after a transaction, witnesses acknowledged the transfer of obligation. But the real brilliance was this: large payments required harmonics. A person alone could play a simple tune, but major exchanges, dowries, land agreements, long-term credit, required multiple people performing layered harmonics that only trained groups could execute. This system created micropayments, single tones, mid-range payments, short sequences, high-value payments, harmonic groups. In modern terms, they had cash, bank transfers, institutional verification, all based on sound. Counterfeiting was nearly impossible. To mimic someone's sound signature, you needed their exact pitch, their breath length, their inflection, their harmonic resonance. Even if someone tried to copy a signature, the community immediately recognized the difference, the same way a mother recognizes her child's cry in a crowded market. The economy thrived because authenticity lived inside people, not objects. And unlike coins, sound signatures couldn't be stolen. If a bandit held you at knife point and demanded your wealth, your signature was useless to him. Only you could produce it. This system solved a problem modern economies still struggle with: the separation of identity from the medium of exchange. In the sound currency world, they were one and the same. Their society was rich in music not because it was entertainment, but because it was infrastructure. Children learned rhythm before arithmetic. Teens trained in pitch the way modern teens train in reading. Adults practiced maintaining breath consistency, ensuring their financial signature never wavered. Markets sounded like soft concerts. Legal disputes resembled duets. Debt agreements were recorded as layered harmonies sung at sunset, each note etched into communal memory. Their temples became auditoriums. Their leaders were master musicians. Their economists were composers. To understand wealth in this society, we didn't study numbers. You studied sound. But every innovation has its flaw. For the Resonants, it was drought. During a period historians call the dry cycle, streams dried, vegetation thinned, and dust storms rolled through the canyons. Sound, once crisp and pure, became muffled by the dust-filled air. Echoes distorted. Signatures blurred. Harmonic payments became unreliable. Imagine if one day your digital bank transfers randomly corrupted. This is what the Resonants faced. Economic collapse didn't begin with warfare. It began with silence. As confusion spread, disputes rose. Who had paid whom? Who still owed what? Without clear acoustic verification, their entire monetary system began to unravel. And into the chaos came external pressure. Neighboring groups with metal tools, written contracts, and coinage. The Resonants couldn't adapt fast enough. Their system was too dependent on an environmental purity they could no longer control. Within 2 centuries, their sound-based economy vanished. All that remained were fragments of instruments, carved flutes, and oral legends of voices that held the power of gold. As environmental instability worsened, the cracks in the sound-based economy deepened. An economy built on acoustics required precision, crisp echoes, clean harmonics, consistent airflow. But the canyons, once perfect instruments of nature, had turned against their own people. Vegetation that once softened sound died off. Rock faces, eroded by heat and dust, began scattering vibrations unpredictably. Seasonal winds changed direction, warping tones mid-air. In markets where a single wrong note could signify fraud, the system descended into distrust. Merchants accused buyers of altering signatures. Debts were disputed. Communal memory, once the backbone of their financial trust, fractured under the strain of uncertainty. People began hoarding physical goods, grains, salt blocks, dried fish, reverting to barter when sonic payments failed. For a society whose entire identity was built on resonance, this was not just an economic crisis. It was a cultural collapse. And then came the outsiders. Neighboring tribes had always heard rumors of the Resonants, the people whose voices were wealth. But contact had remained minimal due to geography and the tribe's fierce protection of their isolation. During the dry cycle, this changed. Migrating groups pushed inland, bringing with them bronze tools, carved stone tablets, rudimentary coinage, formalized written contracts. The Resonants saw these objects as crude, heavy, and spiritually empty. But the outsiders saw the Resonants as vulnerable, a society unable to defend itself because it had no material currency to tax, seize, or plunder. Colonizers weren't drawn by gold. They were drawn by silence. The silence of a society whose economic infrastructure was collapsing. At first, interactions remained peaceful. The outsiders offered metal blades in exchange for dried fish or pottery. But when the Resonants attempted to pay using sound signatures, confusion followed. Voice-based currency meant nothing to cultures whose wealth was measured by weight. The outsiders refused the transactions. Markets froze, and in desperation, some Resonants tried storing wealth by engraving sound sequences into wooden boards. But a sound engraved is a sound without breath, and therefore meaningless. Their currency could not survive physicalization. It needed a human voice. It needed the canyon's echo. It needed a world that no longer existed. As disputes continued, a cultural split emerged within the society. Traditionalists insisted that sound signatures must remain the only legitimate currency, even if the environment distorted them. Adaptationists argued for a transitional system. Small wooden tokens engraved with symbols, clay discs representing specific harmonic sequences, hybrid payments combining sound with objects. For the first time in centuries, the society debated the meaning of value itself. The traditionalists warned, if sound dies, our identity dies with it. The adaptationists argued, if sound cannot be trusted, we will die with it. The debate became existential, not just about economics, but about who they were. Then one event changed everything. A major land agreement, normally settled by a grand harmonic performance, failed catastrophically. A gust of wind distorted a crucial harmonic tone, making it appear as if one family had attempted fraud. Accusations erupted. A long-standing alliance dissolved. A generational feud ignited. That night, for the first time, the canyon heard something new, the sound of economic betrayal. It echoed louder than any harmony before it. Within a decade, the system was gone. Barter replaced resonance. Written marks replaced communal memory. Instruments once used for accounting became ceremonial relics. Eventually, even the ceremonies faded. And when the last resonant elder who remembered the ancient sound signatures died, the currency truly died with her. At first glance, the idea of using sound as currency seems fantastical. But look closely at our modern world, and the echoes become unmistakable. Today, value still depends on signals. The beep of a card reader, the ping of a bank transfer, the digital tones confirming authentication, the biometric signature of a unique human voice. Voice-based payment. Authentication is one of the fastest-growing banking technologies. Digital currencies are verified through consensus, the same principle the resonance used through communal acknowledgement. And modern markets depend heavily on something the resonance mastered long before us: trust in intangible value. We no longer exchange gold bars. We exchange numbers on screens. Invisible, weightless signals, not so different from their harmonics. Their system wasn't primitive. It was prophetic. The resonance revealed something most economic textbooks overlook. Money is not the object. Money is the agreement. Value exists because people decide to believe in it. Their sound currency proved that wealth can exist in vibrations, memory, consensus, performance, recognition. They showed that the most powerful economies don't rely on metal or paper, but on shared belief. And in an age where digital currencies, NFTs, attention economics, and algorithmic finance dominate the landscape, the resonants feel eerily modern. They lived in an economy without physical currency. We are rapidly returning to one. They used a decentralized ledger of witnesses. We use decentralized ledgers on blockchains. Their system collapsed when the environment changed. Ours shifts every time the global economic climate changes. We didn't surpass the resonance. We became their descendants in ways we barely recognize. In the end, the resonants remind us of one truth modern civilization often forgets. The most fragile currencies are the ones we cannot hear breaking. Their downfall wasn't caused by war. It wasn't caused by greed. It wasn't caused by technological inferiority. It was caused by the erosion of the one resource their economy depended on most: clarity. When the world distorts the signals we rely on, economic, political, environmental, or social, the systems built upon them begin to fracture. The resonance story is not a tragedy. It is a warning and a mirror. We live in economies built on invisible forces: trust, data, algorithms, attention, belief. Their system may have disappeared into silence, but the echoes of their wisdom still shape our world.